NASA's launching something big this summer, and it's not a rocket. It's a free streaming service with no ads. Well, I say free with quotations because if you're an American, you're probably paying for it. And if you're not paying for it, then you're probably evading your taxes. According to the trailer on NASA's website, the titles of some of the series and channels will be NASA Talks, Space Out, NASA Kids, NASA Explorers, and my personal favorite, Mars is Hard. NASA launching a free streaming service has numerous benefits, both for the agency itself and for the general public. What I love about this is that by showcasing the intricacies of space missions and the science behind them, NASA can promote STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, encouraging more students to consider careers in these areas. So, yeah, a free streaming service from NASA can serve as a powerful tool for education, engagement, and inspiration, furthering the agency's mission to reach new heights and reveal the unknown for the benefit of humankind. All right, coming back to Earth, on the other side of the world, China's video game industry is looking up as regulations have loosened. The biggest gaming market in the world just reached 668 million gamers as of June 2023. But it wasn't always like this. Remember, back in 2021 to 2022, the Chinese government seriously cracked down on gaming and stopped approving new games for 8 months straight. They also limited the age, time, and money that kids could spend on gaming. Basically, China saw video games as a spiritual opium, and the government did not want that corrupting its youths. Well, fast forward to now, they realized that gaming could actually be good for the economy and culture, so now we have a booming gaming industry again. We may even see more of that growth in the later half of this year. So, what does this mean for you, my dear gamers? It means that we can expect more games from China. Just last month in July, 88 new games have been approved. And with new games, possibly a renewed interest in esports. Moving on to the most important item in today's episode. Originally, when I saw this headline, I didn't like it. It was called AI Can Now Steal Data by Listening to Keystrokes. Gosh, I just hate it so much when people use AI in such a negative light, so I'm going to modify it. The headline should have been, People misusing AI can now steal data by listening to keystrokes. That's right, you heard me correctly. A new study has revealed that hackers can use a deep learning model to classify laptop keystrokes using a smartphone integrated microphone. This means that they can potentially access your passwords, credit card numbers, and other sensitive information by simply placing a phone near your keyboard. So imagine this, you're on Zoom or Skype, and your coworker, Dan, is looking like a slob. And you're over here typing to your other coworker, Tom, and you're like, Dan looks like he hasn't taken a bath in 3 days. Well, you might want to think twice before you type, because Dan could be some secret hacker listening into all of your keystrokes, and he could decipher exactly what you were typing. How does this all work, you might ask? Well, let me explain it to you. The researchers used a convolutional neural network, in other words, very complicated mathematics, to process the audio signals captured by the phone's microphone. They trained the model on different types of keyboards and different distances between the phone and the keyboard. They also tested the model on keystrokes recorded using Zoom. The results were impressive. The model achieved an accuracy of 95% when trained on keystrokes recorded by a phone and 93% when trained on keystrokes recorded using Zoom. That's pretty accurate if you ask me. But don't worry, there are plenty of ways to protect yourself from these acoustic side channel attacks. The researchers suggested using mitigation methods such as noise cancellation, encryption, or authentication. You can also use a mechanical keyboard instead of a membrane keyboard, as it produces less noise and is harder to distinguish. Or you can use software that generates random keystrokes or noise to confuse the attacker. Or you can just stop typing altogether and just use voice command. Because nothing says I'm secure than shouting your password at your phone. I am being completely sarcastic. I'm sorry, but please don't panic. All jokes aside, I've included a link in the description. If you guys are interested in learning more about countermeasures, feel free to give it a read. And if you don't have time to read it, here's basically what you need to know. Researchers have found that touch typing can reduce keystroke recognition from 64% to 40%. They also suggest changing typing styles, using noise-producing software, and considering biometric authentication or password managers. I would also suggest getting quieter keycaps. Luckily, a lot of personal computers nowadays also have voice isolation. For instance, if you're talking to a friend via FaceTime, voice isolation is great because it drowns out all background noises. I also think maybe we could look into laser keyboards if that's a thing. So kind of like in Psychopaths or Minority security report. You're basically just typing in the air and just using these fancy swipe motions. I don't know what that technology is called. I'm sure someone smarter than me is working on it. But yeah, with the evolution of technology, I think we'll also see evolution of countermeasures. This is a time for all tech companies to improve hardware security and really think about security by design. Security conscious development practices have to become more prevalent. And it's up to all companies that during the design phase to mitigate vulnerabilities from the get-go. Welcome to this week's episode of Hype or Swipe. And the software that we're going to be hyping today is called Animate-Diff. So this is a collaboration between Shanghai AI Laboratory and the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And the goal here is to animate your personalized text-to-image diffusion models without specific tuning. It is possible for everyone to manifest their imagination into high-quality images with an affordable cost. While this is all very interesting, I just wish I understood all of it. I will provide a link in the description below so you guys can also try and— Oh, whoa! I'm so sorry, Sushi. I just kicked my cat. I will provide a link in the description so that you guys can also play around with Animate-Diff and tell me what you guys think. I'm gonna go here and drop a picture of my cat Noodle. Well, let's go ahead and click the magic button and see what happens. While we're waiting, this is the model. No, what do you mean error? So I didn't read this before starting, but it says, upload an image you previously generated from Stable Diffusion. Important. There we go. Bengal Kitty. Generate. I didn't provide a negative prompt because I'm just not a very negative person. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm going to forgive this image. It could be better. And I think halfway there, it started looking like a dog. Pretty sure there was like a corgi in there somewhere. Let's go ahead and change up the prompt because I'm a terrible prompt writer. Now, it's never the machine's fault. It's always human error. So if this animation didn't turn out as beautiful as I expected, it's my fault. I updated the prompt, a cute Bengal kitty jumping out of the bubble bath, and let's see what it comes up with. All right, let's check out this animation. Whoa! This is freaking amazeballs, guys. Wow. Sure, the legs look like they were crisscrossed in a really awkward way, but the fact that it knew this was a bathtub, it even added this water effect, like I can only imagine the technology getting better and better from here. Okay, I want to try this one more time since it only takes 60 seconds to process an animation. This is the true test of whether or not an AI can get specific enough, down to the detail. That must take a lot more intelligence, I think. Because now the AI has to figure out, well, where's the face? Where's the tongue? How far does the tongue stick out? Like, there's so many parameters to think about. Whatever the result is, I just know I'm gonna love it. Oh my gosh. Just by looking at this thumbnail, you can tell that the machine is learning. It's so similar to the original photo right here. And I feel like the bathtub actually became even more beautiful. Let's go ahead and take a look at this animation. All right, so not quite sticking out its tongue, but more like cringing. The Bengal cat's face could look a little less nightmarish towards the end here. I do think that the special effects with the water here is absolutely brilliant. Kind of reminds me of a Miyazaki film, actually. I really love it. I love all technology, and I love that with technology, you can create all different kinds of art. I've always wanted to create children's cartoons, so I'm definitely someone who would use technology like this because I have all these stories in my head, and I know exactly what I want the characters in my stories to do, but sometimes it's so hard to explain it to another artist, and then you have to go through so many iterations, and that can probably cost a lot. Hopefully we can find a nice compromise between human artists and machine artists. At the end of the day, this is brilliant. And if you guys end up using Animate Diff, please let me know in the comments how you guys liked it. And if you guys made a video as well, please send it to me on Discord. I would love to see what you guys came up with. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it and most of all, learned something thought-provoking from this. Well, if you guys did, please share it with your friends. And if you guys hated this episode, then please share it with your enemies.